right, y'all, let's solve a mystery. On my pre-shuffle, I got the wheel, and on this card it says to have, never to suffer, would never to have been blessed. And at the bottom is this Six of Quills. This is like the Six of Swords, and it says, we called it the River of Silence, for there seemed to be a hushing influence in its flow. So let me tell you what I'm getting so far. So with the wheel and this never to have suffered, I'm definitely getting that, like, your particular experiences have been perhaps challenging. You made it through them, but they have been very challenging. You've had to deal with a lot of ups and down, upsets. The wheel has turned quite a bit. Perhaps there are some things going on in your chart which are more difficult aspects. You may have some placements that are in detriment. I get like this thing of having, like, some exalted planets and also some planets that are kind of like opposite their exaltation, or just more difficult, just a bit more difficult aspects, right? Like, so you may have like Sun in Aquarius, or you know Venus in Scorpio. So I'm really getting, like, that you've had to deal with uh, some experiences that are meant to be lessons. So instead of asking why did this happen to, why me, it should be like, what is the lesson that I have received from this? Because I think the lesson is your blessing, right? The blessing is the lesson, and sometimes in order to receive your blessings, you have to learn the lesson. So, like, for example, you may have to, it may have to be revealed to you that the people around you are deceptive, like that they are thieves, right? And you may have to learn that lesson when you have no money, before you receive a much larger blessing, because you would rather learn it when someone is stealing, $5, $100, $1,000 from you, than when you have millions or billions and someone's stealing like $100,000 from you, or $100 million from you, right? Because the same people will do things like, very horrible things for, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, right? So they absolutely do it when there are millions of dollars involved. So it may be that type of experience, like, that you have to learn about. And it may not even be a financial experience. It could be about, other things that you've gone through. So maybe you've learned lessons about the heart, about, like, allowing yourself to be involved in third party situations. Maybe you had to learn about that first before you can get into your kingdom relationship, right? I get that for the majority, that this is about experiences of leaving things behind, and leaving things behind without much fanfare. It's just like, that walking away in silence, right? Like, rather than putting up a fight about certain things. So maybe you did discover that, someone is deceptive and they're trying to steal from you, but rather than, making it a big deal, maybe you spend a lot of time ruminating about what you should do, and then ultimately make this decision to just move away from the situation. And that perhaps is the lesson, that and that would be like passing the test, in a sense, before you can get to that next phase, is that you've understood right, that you have to just move away excuse me, that you have to move away without really, like I was saying earlier, matching energies to other people. So you don't want to fight, deception with deception, but like leaving with your peace and your harmony. I get the feeling, especially with the wheel coming up, this is giving me like Cinderella energy, the goose that laid the golden egg energy, and here they're like at a loom. These, some kind of like, I don't know. This wheel looks like almost like some kind of sewing device or something like that. You maybe even have had some experiences with people who work in like textiles and garment making, dress making, something like that, some kind of craft experience, people doing things with their hand. You had to learn some experience about that. It also gives me kind of like a bit of like coven energy, like this coven pulling on your energy in a sense, or like kind of like a Cinderella energy of being like uh, um, you know, not being allowed to have your birthright. Like, so someone is taking your energy to make something else, or taking your birthright to fuel their own, agendas. So I'm getting that kind of thing. That's like the kind of like the pre-shuffle energy. But we want to solve a mystery. So if that is the case, we want to see what more about this wheel. And the wheel, represents like the wheel, and the moving away, of course, represents moving into that next thing, right? So like perhaps like our mystery will be about what is that next thing that we're moving into after we've learned these lessons. Hopefully we've learned the lessons, right? Hey, little yellow butterfly. It's like tennis ball yellow. Oh, okay. I got 3 cards that flipped over. The 5 of Paws. The 5 of Paws is like the 5 of Pentacles. We see this black cat looking out the window. Or we see the paw prints on the window. It looks like the cat has been looking into the window there. So he's looking back on, perhaps the cat was inside the house at one point. Now it's on the outside, and it's, looking inside, looking back inside, seeing those things that were once there. This is like, the cat is like left out in the cold. It says, just as the day dawns, to the friendless and houseless beggar who roams the street throughout the long, desolate winter night, just so tardily, just so wearily, just so cheerily came back the light of the soul to me. So this experience really is about, really calling back in your soul. It's like, wow, it's like an experience of being out in the cold, but this experience actually is something that brings back like a soul memory to you. You feel me? The moon at night. It's something about the nighttime thing and the stars. So the moon's energy is about something healing, about emotionality, about something missing. And the star is about healing and timing. So I'm definitely getting about like, at night with the star and the moon, that there's like some kind of timing or thing that's happening there. and the moon and the star. I'm getting angels coming to you in a dream. I'm getting, oh yeah, I'm absolutely getting like, uh, this is like being visited by the Holy Spirit in your dream state. This is about like uh, Akashic record, like leveling up to an extent. Um, it's almost like it's like that Jesus healing energy. So I think like it's about the experiences that you have gone through before you can become this this type of miracle worker. And at the bottom is the Knight of Wheels. It's funny because like last night I was playing with these cards, the Knight of Wheels fell out. It was like in the cart, and so that's at the bottom. And I had put the deck up, and then I came back to this Knight of Wheels. It says, as a thing of art, nothing could be more admirable than the painting itself, but it could have been neither the execution of the work nor the immortal beauty of the continents, which has suddenly and so vehemently moved me. Yeah, so this is like being really moved emotionally, being moved in the spirit. So that really like speaks um to this experience, this moon and star experience. You see, like she's praying and the angel is there. Yeah, it really feels like receiving downloads. It's like you had to have these experiences before you can receive your spiritual gifts. Because I was talking about financial things earlier, but I don't think this is like material stuff. This is more about your spiritual gifts that come to you. This is about like what this is about what you're able to do, because people will pay um, you know a lot of money to heal themselves, right? People will pay a lot of money for different things. What has a big price tag. Medical bills is one of them. So like having the ability to just touch someone and heal them is like a priceless type of thing. But to get to that, to understand like your ability, even things like to touch someone and deliver them from a demonic spirit, those things are priceless, because only certain people can do that. Only certain people have gone through the experiences, or only certain people have been selected by God to receive those type of gifts, or will do the type of spiritual work, the fasting and praying that is required to actually receive those kind of gifts and use it effectively. And we're in a time, if you believe in the Bible, if you have studied the Bible, and what Jesus teaches us is that in this time we should have those powers. If we don't have those powers, it's because we aren't doing the things, aren't following by his example to actually have those abilities. So like if you are, then you should be able to go. He gives his disciples the authority to say, now you all go out and touch people and heal them. You go out and do miracles. You go out and raise people from the dead, right? So that's what I'm getting with this energy. Perhaps it is miracle season. Time for someone to step into this phase of actually performing miracles. I saw a post on Twitter where someone was saying how the sun popped up. the sun is so we got the sun, the moon, and the star. The wheel, the sun, the moon, and the star. This is definitely about your chart, like somebody's chart. Something is happening in the chart. There's an alignment in your chart right now. You should look up the current planets. You should look up your transit chart. If you don't know how to look up your transit chart, you can go to astro.com and put in your birth time information and go to like the extended chart selection and look up a transit chart, and the transit chart will show you your birth chart, and it'll show you in green on the outside of the chart, it'll show you where all the planets are currently located. And so there's likely an alignment between the planets in your birth chart and where the planets are right now. And you should really look up, what planets are connecting to, particularly your sun and your moon, or making certain aspects to your sun and your moon, right? Like, for example, I know right now, like, Pluto is at the end of Capricorn, and I'm born at the end of Aries, so I know that there's a square to Pluto makes a square to my birth sun, right? It says, they who dream by day are cognizant of many things which escape those who dream only by night. And I'm born on the 19th, so this is kind of where that at the 19th is the last day of Aries, so it puts my Aries sun at that 29th degree of Aries. So I really feel like this has a lot to do with the alignments of the planets, about timing, and perhaps you have gone through all the lessons and now things are really getting ready to shift and change for you. It feels very, very good. It could be a bit more intense, but that's what I'm picking up for you guys on this one. We'll come back with another reading.